All right. Hello, everyone.
Yes,
We are live. We are live. Welcome to the Land Profit Masterclass.
Yes.
This is let's introduce
Michelle Bosch.
Jack Bosch.
We are super excited to guide you through this, CEO edition of the Land Profit Strategies, that we are going to be sharing with you over the next 5 days. We are super excited. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. Myself, Jack, our entire team has been pouring their heart into getting us to this point of being here live. I see 18 people, 30 people there, so I think we are live. We are using StreamYard. This is our very first time using StreamYard, and I think, I think there's a little bit of a delay. Jack is like excited that he can see.
I was like, this is so the important thing on StreamYard, guys, is that you guys need to have the system. There's a link that says that you need to allow StreamYard to do something so that
you can post
comments, or that we can see your comments or something like that. So make sure you do that right away. So if you do that, I think that we can see, like Jenny, we can see her name. If not, we have to look at a parallel screen to see your comments here. But anyway, welcome to the
Land Profit Masterclass.
And I forgot to wear my jacket. To look all dressed up.
You can wear it.
Should I still wear it? Like, what do you guys think? Right? We want it to be, since it's a master class, we want it to dress up a little bit for you guys.
It's about becoming a CEO of your land flipping business. There we go. Okay, good job.
Azzy, huh?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay, there we go.
There we go.
So, all right. So
let's get started, guys. For those of you that are new, I know there's a lot of new friends here. There's some old friends as well. Thank you so much for joining us. But for those of you that, have just discovered us, we are Jack and Michelle Bosch. We're the co-creators of the Land Profit Generator Method and the Land Profit Strategies that we're going to be teaching you guys and going through with you guys over the next 5 days. We have created, we are peerless in our industry. We are the premier land experts when it comes to, anything that has to do with land investing. We have created the #1 incubator of land flipping businesses on the planet. No questions asked. We are the Harvard of land flipping, and we are excited to basically teach you right now over the course of these next 5 days the same land profit strategies that we've been using, to create 8 figures in our business, doing land flips, over 4,000 flips since 2002. We've been doing this in any market cycle, through a boom, through a bust, through a recovery. We continue to do it today, selling land like hotcakes right now. And we are excited to bring you through this process through the point of view of a CEO, so that you can focus on the things that matter and you don't get trapped in what we call, busy movement. We specialize in building, growing, and scale land flipping businesses. That is our specialty. We have focused now since 2002 in one singular activity that has turned pretty much into mastery. And mastery is what you need to become a CEO of your land flipping business. Mastery is what you need to really, enjoy a rich life in entrepreneurial freedom, that it's not just about cash in the bank, but it's also about time freedom with your, with your family. Otherwise, you're replacing, one job with another job in my mind.
Absolutely,
So though this masterclass then is for those that want mastery. Yeah. If you're already a student, this is for you. If you want mastery, if you just discovered us and you're a person that goes all in and is all about mastery, you are here. You're going to be learning what the top 97% of the land flippers that are very, very successful are doing over the course of the next 5 days.
What the top 3% are doing, what the 97% are not doing, right? Yeah. So like with our method, everyone can do deals, right? But there's a certain percentage of our students that are blowing this out of the water. They are taking this business to high 6 figures, even 7 figures a year. And in this masterclass is about, we're going to talk to you about the fundamentals, of course. So if you're brand new here, you're still going to get all the fundamentals. As a matter of fact, I'll jump into that in just a second. But we are always, the entire masterclass is with a higher view, right? We're looking up higher to truly generating mastery, to allow you, if you're already doing deals, if you do a lot of deals, a few deals, or no deals whatsoever, or you're struggling, or you're coming over from the housing side, but you have been struggled, to show you a path to true mastery with land flipping. Now, why land flipping? Because it's simpler than house flipping. Like, there's no tenants, there's no toilets, there's no termites, there's no mortgages, there's no mold, there's no repairs, there's no inspectors, right? There's no building permits, there's none of these other things, right? And someone says, jealous of that painting too. Yeah, that's our Pac-Man, we call him, right? We can go a little higher. This is our Pac-Man. It's a beautiful painting that we actually got. It's a Honduran painter from Michelle's hometown, actually, or close to her hometown, which is, makes beautiful art. And so it's a simpler system where you can do everything you can do with houses, just without the hassle of dealing with the houses, right? So you can wholesale land, you can retail land, you can sell land with seller financing without being in trouble with any kind of, without fighting against any kind of government regulations like Dodd-Frank or IRS regulations. You can do all the things that you can do with houses just easier, just simpler, and without actually having to leave your house. So that's some of the benefits that we do. We have done deals while during the pandemic. Our students are doing deals from home while during the pandemic. While the house flippers are trying to figure out how to make things work, we are just cruising along. As a matter of fact, our business has never been better. Yes. So this is what we're going to talk about right now. But right now, for the next 3 to 5 days, we're going to always elevate our view, elevate our site towards mastery.
Yeah, towards mastery and becoming a CEO for sure, and being able to thrive, like Jack was just saying, you know, in any economy, and creating your own economy, because that's what the 3% are doing right now. They're creating their own economy in spite of what's happening, and that comes with mastery, and mastery equals cash confidence, you know, from our perspective. You know, mastery has allowed us, you know, Jack and myself, in a short period of time to really create, you know, a change, you know, in our path, in our trajectory of our destiny and our financial destiny, really change our family tree and generations to come. And we want, you know, to have the same for you, to be able to do the same for you. You know, I still remember our very first deal. I still remember our very first 7-figure year, you know, from profits from land. And believe me, there's nothing more exciting than finding that one thing that is gonna finally put you in a different trajectory, put you in a different path. And yeah, so you can start getting those 6-figure paydays consistently, because mastery means that you consistently are getting deals in, and you're consistently, you know, flushing deals out, so that you can consistently be producing cash profits. And then the next level is, how can I do that without me being the one doing all of the work, you know?
Exactly right. Yeah. So you made the right choice. Congratulations for being here, right? I understand that if you're already if you're in the first category of investors already do a lot of things, you're at the right place, because we're going for mastery. If you're struggling with your first deal, or with just doing more than a deal like a quarter, you're in the right place, because we're going to show you how to accelerate that. And if you're in the third category of investors that have just never done anything yet, you're also at the right place, right? So it's the key is, and if you're already in the minuscule 3% that actually go and take this business to the 7 figures, then great. I still believe you can learn a few things here while we're going together. So you made the right choice. You're at the right place. You understand that mastering land flipping is not a choice that you have. It's what the 3% basically are, or all the top leaders in the land flipping in this group have. They have reached mastery. So you have good company here, right? So great. Are you ready to learn? Who is ready to learn? Give us a heck yes here right now, right?
We know that you guys are there, awake and fully on board. Wonderful. Thank you so much, guys.
Right. So and we are only like 8 minutes in, and we already have 300 people here. So that is exciting, guys. So
and you know what? This masterclass was only originally 3 days, you know, but as we were creating content, we realized that, oh my goodness, you know, we're not going to be able to pack this into 3 days. So we have actually bonus sessions scheduled every single day, and we're going all the way through the week until Friday. You know, all the replays, everything is going to be available until Friday at midnight. We actually have a bonus session today at 2 p.m. Pacific. We're going to be talking about the 4 stages of growth as it applies to the land flipping business. You know, a lot of us might be on startup, others might be on build up, others might be on build out, Others may be at maturity. Maturity is when you're enjoying a cash flow lifestyle, as an entrepreneur, as a CEO. And we're going to basically teach you what those 4 stages are and what you need to be doing in each of those stages in order to basically grow your land flipping and enjoy the entrepreneurial freedom that you started this land flipping business for to begin with. So I want to remind you guys, usually these sessions are each and every session are part of a bigger puzzle. They kind of like lay, on top of each other. They work with each other. So you want to do everything that is humanly possible to stay on pace, on par with us, to not fall behind. If you are awake, you need to be inside of this Land Profit Masterclass group over the course of this week. So let's go ahead and get started. We have.
So we're ready to. Are you ready to? So a lot of people say like they're ready to learn right now. They're like, I am excited.
Actually, I wanted to mention: have you guys received your homework?
Don't have your homework, please put it in there right now. So one of our concierges, one of our community managers, one of our personal advisors, you want to call them, one of our guys, for our ladies from Team Warrior, Land Profit Warriors, will be able to help you. Will be helping you to get that. So put in like if you still need your thing, or just send a direct message to one of your guys. So there's a couple of people.
Because there's about 2,400 of you, and there's only 2 of us. So our entire team is here. We have about 6 people that are your concierges that are here to personally walk you through how to implement each and every one of the concepts and strategies that we're going to be teaching you guys, and how it applies to your particular situation. So make sure that you reach out to them. So, most of them introduced themselves already by video yesterday. You met Jennifer Clark, you met Thea Arenasa, you met Stephanie Seidler, you met Jeff Compass, David Van, you also met probably Sarah Robinson. She's the newest addition to our team. We're so excited to have her. So we've all been preparing here for you guys to really, like I said, bring you for our heart and give you guys.
Let me clarify. Yes, let me clarify. What we ask you is to have the workbook, not the homework. The homework we give you today, but the workbook is what you need. Is
the worksheet. There's a worksheet.
There's a little pamphlet with a nice picture of us up front, and that's
that is
what
for you to follow along with us today, so that you can actually take notes.
Actually get at the end of each session. So some
of you guys say, I have no workbook yet. Make sure that you contact one of your concierges, okay?
So if you need the workbook, contact your concierges or let us know here. The homework we give you at the end of every session. All right.
Also, I just wanted to mention, with the homework, there's going to be a homework post, and those are 2 separate things. So there's a worksheet that we use every single day to follow along for you to take notes, to basically capture all the content. And then we're also, right after this live, we're going to be posting a homework post for you guys to go ahead and take action on a question that we're going to give you towards the tail end of this live. The whole point of that is to make you move, is to move you from point A to point B. We want to create momentum. We want to create action. We want to create motion during this week. If we leave you in this exact same, space and point of view, and that we found you, we've done a disservice for you, because this isn't just about absorbing content. Is actually it's about implementing. It's about putting it into action. So at the end of this live, we will give you a question, and there's going to be a homework post where you're gonna put the answer to that question. And so just so you know, there's going to be prizes that are involving you posting your homework, and those prizes are not for us, they're for you. It's an incentive to make you do, to move you, to get you in motion, because an object in motion tends to stay in motion. For us, this week is about giving you a running head start on becoming the CEO of your land flipping business. Exactly. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys know that. For the new ones that have not done this before with us, this is where we're at. So you guys are in for a treat. You're gonna get wins here, that not even in paid programs you get. And why? Because you're gonna have support, you're gonna have accountability, you're gonna be having, a team that is fighting. That's why our team are the Land Profit Warriors, the team that is fighting for your dreams, for you, absolutely. For
your success, right? For your success. We, as you guys know, we are on a mission to create 1,000 millionaires, right? So we're on a mission to create 1,000 millionaires. That's our goal. So in order to get on the path of $1 million, we don't want you to just flip one deal. We want you to create mastery. We want you to be able to scale this business. We want you to be able to automate this business. We want you to be able to live the life, right, that allows you to go on a boat like Mike Ferreira, one of our coaches, who just posted that this last weekend. He was like, one night he wakes up in the morning and the property sold overnight. He then went out on the boat with his kids. He came back. While he's on the boat, he gets text messages. He gets a message notification that another property sold overnight. He goes back to home. He has dinner with his family. He goes to sleep the next day. Another property sold, right? Or so 2 or 3 properties sold literally while him just either sleeping or having time with his family. That's what mastery looks like, right? That's what mastery looks like, and it belongs and it consists of multiple pieces. So what we're going to talk about in the next 5 days, just quickly, is we will talk about building a profitable foundation for explosive growth, right? That's what we're going to talk about today. That includes the 4 pillars of business and what it requires to 10x your land business, right? Or create a business that it's in the highest 6 or 7 figures. The importance of selecting right areas. So we are going back to also to some of the basic things that we have covered in prior sessions, but always with a focus on mastery, right? How to best get started, right? Mastering scale and lead generation and building a massive lead generation machine, including what systems you need. The biggest 5 landmines that prevent land investors from growing, right? That's going to be tomorrow, right? Then how to negotiate like a Jedi master to buy land for pennies on the dollar and sell for top dollars, right? Now, here's the thing. If you just want to do 1 or 2 or 3 deals, you don't need to know how to negotiate. But if you want to scale your business to 100 deals or to $1 million a year, then you do need to know how to negotiate and how consistently, because by knowing how to negotiate, you can get a multiple of deals that you otherwise get, right? And then how to sell properties fast, right? We're going to talk about that on Wednesday, right? How to track what matters. It's a crucial piece that we haven't talked before in other sessions here, but tracking what matters is KPIs, key performance indicators, is absolutely crucial to your being able to scale. So these are some of the exciting things that we're going to talk about. And just as an example, if you look at one of our coaching students like Megan Autry and Tina Johnson, like mother and daughter team, they were trying on their own. They just tried to figure this out, and then once they plugged in and learned these pieces, just these exact pieces, they, I think in the last 120 days they've made over $100,000 and have another deal under contract that's worth $100,000 that they have under contract that have under contract for $20,000. So that's probably another $30,000-$40,000 deal. So right there, it's like $150,000 in a matter of like 4 to 5 months. So they're just getting started, right? Because before, for a year, they just tried to just do this on their own, and it just didn't work very well. So we are going to walk you through the path to mastery.
Yeah, mastery also, and that CEO lifestyle requires a different set of skill sets, because when I think of CEO, I'm thinking 10x results, not just 10x results in cash, but 10x results when it comes to entrepreneurial freedom of time, freedom of purpose, relationships. So, part of our book bundle this time is a completely different set of reading that, we're going to be giving away. It's going to include, of course, our Forever Cash book.
Of course.
We're going to be also giving you guys Never Split the Difference,
which is a negotiation book by a former FBI hostage specialist.
And then we're going to be giving you guys The Psychology of Influence and Persuasion, and The E-Myth Revisited, which is all about process systems, so that you can really, go from just having a job where you're just basically having a land flipping job to actually having a land flipping business.
And this book bundle is going to be somebody's going to win this. And you see some of these books are like pretty well read with a whole bunch of.
We have a lot of how do we call the little,
like dog ears and stuff, but also you see there's like lots of stuff underlined here. You see them underlined and so on, because it's good stuff. This is the books that we read ourselves and reread because they're just really good books. So somebody's going to win this book bundle today, actually tomorrow, and the way you win it is that when we give you the homework and you actually post something in the homework, you can actually be entered into the winning. So you got to be attending here, or even if you watch it afterwards, but most importantly, you got to take action on the first step that we ask you to do. And then then tomorrow we announce who's the winner of this, right?
So let's go ahead and dive deep into creating a 6- and 7-figure boom in 2020. We're halfway through the year. Well, there's still time right now to set up the ground to really finish 2020 strong, you know. And like I said earlier, it's going to require a new different set of skill sets in order to get 10x results, but that's what's going to give you scale, and scale is going to mean freedom. It's going to mean enough profits so that you can automate, so that you can delegate, so that you can have a team, you know. So because at the end of the day, what we have found is every time with 10x has been easier, but it's required different capabilities, different support system, different skill set, different structure, infrastructure, and a totally different mindset. But we know that you can do it. You know, we've started just like you at ground zero. You know, we are immigrants, you know, into the US. We came here in 1995, 1997 with 2 suitcases to our name each, and that's it. And so, you know, got our MBAs.
Landed in Chicago O'Hare, took a train down to Union Station, took a taxi down to Union Station, and took a train then to the university where we met a few weeks later. And
Cupid hit right there.
Cupid hit right there, exactly. And then now we're married as of like 2 weeks ago. We're married 19 years already. A beautiful 12-year-old daughter, not only beautiful, but super smart and hardworking too, and entrepreneurial. And we have, so we started exactly like you started, just a few years earlier, right? We also,
we got our MBAs. You know, we've been working for Fortune 500 companies, Jack, in the you know, CRM or, you know, system space, software space, for me in the finance space. And, you know, we love systems, we love process, we love team, you know. With time, we have come to understand the importance of a team surrounding you so that you can actually get done things, you know, with ease, with grace, the importance of the right who's also in your team. And this is what has enabled us to scale, to really at some, you know, point sell 200 pieces of land in a quarter, to create 8 figures in our land flipping businesses, to create $70,000 worth of passive cash flow per month just from land notes. And now we're sharing this method with you guys, and we continue to perfect it. We continue to improve it. As times change, we need to change. We need to adapt. And so if you don't have experience, you know, like Jack said, we will be covering some of the fundamentals as well. So no worries. You know, we're excited, you know, in terms of bringing you through this journey. We've had the privilege of, you know, bringing so many other people to success, and we know that you will find success as well.
So just one quick, yes, you will, absolutely. So quickly, there's a few questions about what's the book bundle. Again, it's our book, Forever Cash, right? That's obviously a must read for everyone. It's How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It's always a classic. It's a classic about just personal relationship and being able to be to communicate with people. It's Never Split the Difference, which is a great negotiation book. It's by Chris Voss. It's Robert Cialdini. It's another classic on just human influence and how to basically the influence of persuasion. It's a killer thing. One of our coaches actually read the book, went to a seminar with Robert Cialdini, and afterwards implemented some of these things in his own mastery process, and he's getting even more deals accepted because of that now. And then lastly, it's the E-Myth Revisited, which is the ultimate classic of small business automation and systematization. So with that said, let's get going. Scale is key, right? So if you're comfortably miserable in your job, right? So that's where we were, right? When we started out, we got to know each other, fell in love with each other, fell in love with the United States, worked on our green card, hated our jobs, right? And because it didn't allow us to do any flexibility, any traveling, anything. Plus we were separate from each other because I traveled Monday to Friday. You guys know the story, or if you're brand new, you don't know the story yet. We'll expand to it over time. But bottom line is we just were miserable, and we realized we needed to do something different. Well, land flipping is that different. So let's get started with that. And wherever you are in your process, land flipping is your solution. So we're going to start right now very quickly with just giving those who are brand new the overview about how does our system regularly work, right? That's our standard basic 5 steps of the land flipping process. And this 5 steps starts with finding good areas, getting a list of property owners that potentially no longer want their properties, mailing them a letter and receiving phone calls, doing research on the properties and making offers. Getting these offers accepted is the same step, of course. And then once these have the properties accepted, go selling the property. That's it. It's a 5-step simple process. Now, simple doesn't mean it's easy always, right? Because it's easy to get a deal done. It's simple to get a deal done. But building scale brings in all the same business principles that you need in any kind of business in the world. And the first business, and if you want to grab your worksheet right now, the first thing that you need for any kind of business out there is what we call the why, the who, the why, the what, the who, and the how. Right? The why, those are the 4 pillars of any business whatsoever. Now, here's the issue. Most people start with the how, which is the method, but they ignore the other 4. If you just start with the how, so what is the why? The why is obviously, why do you want to start a business? And we'll go into that in just a second, because the why is so important, you can't even imagine. Yeah. So the next thing, so if you don't have a reason to do something, chances are you're going to fail and you're not going to do anything. Secondly is the what. Well, the what is, well, the method, right? It's the system, the strategy.
The superior strategy that is going to get you to 10x results.
So if you want to get to $10 million in the bank, the way to do that is not to have a lemonade stand on the street, right? It's just not the right method. It's not the right superior strategy. It's not the right vehicle. It's not having I think, an antique store. I read antique stores are the 183rd most profitable business out of 190. Right? So basically, it's capital intensive, and only a few people buy some old stuff that you have there, right? So the what is the superior strategy. The who comes in the people side. Yeah. So the people side. Now, most people start with the who being yourself, right?
Wearing all hats.
And you're wearing all hats, and that's fine. But as you want to scale, you want to revisit those questions, and then lastly comes the how. And the how is how do I select counties? How do I get a list? How do I think? And everyone focuses on the how, and the how is great, and the how is necessary. But if you just focus on the how, what you're going to have is you build yourself another job, right? Because if you just do all the steps yourself, then what you have perhaps more money. Well, for sure more money, because our strategy is way more profitable, but you don't yet have the freedom. You have money freedom, but you don't have time freedom yet. So what you need to do is you need to actually, any business you look at, you need to start at the why, then figure out the what, and obviously the what is the land flipping strategy. We already, the land profit strategies, methods, and then you want to, when you scale, you want to look at the who's, and then you want to have people put in place instead replace you in the business. And the how is obviously the strategies. The how doesn't change. The how is still just there. The how changes slightly if you go and scale, because you can use additional things like paid advertising and so on. If you have one property, it might not make sense to do paid advertising, but if you have 50 properties for sale, it makes total sense to put a professional advertising strategy in place, to which we can talk about too in day 3, which is Wednesday.
Yeah. Right. So the who is about team is about the people that are helping you in this journey that are not just yourself. It's going to be VAs. It's going to be, community. It's going to be mentors. It's really about you even going to the point of identifying what your core values are, so that you can bring people that are in alignment with those values, that are in alignment with what you're doing. It's figuring out, are you going to onboard 2-3 VAs at a time, to collapse time, or are you going to onboard a team member at a time? For us, every time we decide to hire, we like hiring in batches of 3 or 5, so that we can train all our people all at once. Even for finding a simple German teacher for Sophia for the summer, yes, what do? We onboard 3 at the same time, and very quickly, within 30 minutes, we realize, okay, the one teacher that we love, that clicks, that we like how her process works, is this one. And so, we focus on that one. And that way we don't waste time, having lessons with a person that is not going to be a good match, and then have to restart again and finding somebody again to, to right. get started with the German lessons again. So in essence, it's the same here, for your business. Right. You're going to, this pillar is about you establishing your onboarding rhythm, your communication rhythm, your delegation rhythm. It's really about all those things when it comes to the who.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it more as we go along, but you think about it, if you bring in an extra person, you might be worrying about the cost, but because you look at that, let's say if you bring in a domestic person from the US in here, and let's say that person makes $40,000 a year, then you're like, oh my God, I haven't earned $40,000 yet. Well, no, you got to look at it. What does that person cost per week or per month? And you very quickly can realize if that person is a great match or not, right? So your exposure is only 1 month or 1.5 months or so of that salary. And it's the same thing when you pick VAs. VAs are obviously cost much less. And, but still your exposure is not a full year salary. His exposure is that time period. And that's how you think. That's why when we found, like Sophia, she speaks German, but her German always goes a little bit down when she's not with her with German speaking people around her. So we are now through to an app, cool app called italki. There's lots of teachers around the world. So we picked 3 teachers. And we had like test lessons with each of them, and then we picked which one we like most, because it's the same exact principle.
But the same with VAs, the same with team that you're bringing on board. Yeah. So that's the who, the how. Jack already discussed, already described it. It's about creating your support structure. It's about accountability. It's about processes. It's about metrics. It's about, structure rhythms for cash generation. It's about what are you going to stop doing, which is busy movement, so that you can focus on the high production revenue generating activities, and so on and so forth. Right. But so in case you guys missed it, the 4 pillars in the homework are the why, the what, the who, and the how. The why is what is as you as a leader right now is really about uncovering your purpose, of uncovering your vision. It's about what your lifetime goals for yourself and for your family are. It's about you being the leader, like I said, of not just your family, but now a small enterprise, a small business. Right. So go ahead.
So exactly right. So we have here, show that why, what, how, and who, and how, the 4 pillars. That's why we like Streamline, because we can put them little overlays in there, so you guys know that. So again, so let's talk more about the why, right? Yeah, we can remove it just over here. The next question here is so let's talk into the why a little more, because the why is always the start. That's again what so many people don't do properly, right? They talk about, oh, let me do this. Well, if you think about why, so the question you want to ask for it is not what am I going to do? The question you want to ask yourself is, what do I want, right? What do I want out of life? What kind of life do I want, right? What is the result that I'm after? Right? That's the real question you want to ask yourself when you go about the why, right? So because at the end of the day, what is the outcome that you want? What is the lifestyle that you want, right? What is the lifestyle that you want? So and based on that, you go select different products. Like there's people say like, hey, lots of career choices are being done by proximity, or just because the parents did it, or because somebody recommended it, but nobody asked the question, what is it that I want out of my life? How do I want to live my life? Do I want to live my life stressed and working 24-hour shifts in a medical center as a night nurse, or do I want to have financial freedom? Or basically, what do you want out of it? Do you want to build a charity? Well, then you need money for that, and you need time for that, and you need to have you elevated your game to a level that you're on par with those people that invest in those kind of things and help in those kind of things. So the why is the main important thing.
I think it becomes your true north. It's so it gives you immense amount of clarity and really shows you what is it that you're striving for? What is that vision of freedom that you're what is that even level of scale that is perfect for you?
Right, exactly. So without the strong why, also there's no action, because most of us, as I said in other sessions, live in that time or live in that situation of like a comfortable misery. Comfortable misery means that they're comfortable financially. They can pay their bills. They can make their car payment. They can make their rent payment or their house payment. They can make they can buy their groceries and so on. They can take a little vacation and so on. But they live in a complete, inside of them, there's a void, there's an emptiness, because they're not working towards what their real true potential is. They're being sucked up in day-to-day stuff with in jobs and with superiors and with bosses and things that they don't enjoy. They're not getting to do what they really want to do in life, and so on. So if you're in that piece, you need a better, it's hard to break out of that because you are comfortable. The pain is bearable, and the pain and the comfort level kind of numbs the pain. You live for Friday. Like, you go post, it's like, thank God it's Friday on Friday morning, because you can't stand it and you want to get out of that week. Well, we want to make sure that you work in something that you change that, right? You need a very, very strong why in order to be able to do that. And we know that right now. For example, we during this pandemic, we both gained like 10 pounds. And we just realized, like, we're going on a beach vacation. If God wills, if we're allowed to leave, we're going to go to Bora Bora in Tahiti later on in about a month from now, right? So if it opens up on July 15th, if everything goes well, we can make the flight and we can go there. We're going to Bora Bora. Well, we don't want to go like 10 pounds, 15 pounds overweight to Bora Bora. So now we have a reason why. Right? The reason why is the beach vacation. Because of the beach vacation, we started doing this keto thing, and Michelle lost like 5 pounds in a week, and I lost like 4 pounds in a week. And so it works. We're sticking to it because also we have accountability to each other, right? Or another pain, perhaps you're in pain. Pain is a great reason why a short term, because you're in pain if you're a lack of money, or perhaps you have in pain because you have a loss of job, or perhaps a slowdown in business, and you're kind of like reevaluating, is it worth doing that, right?
You posted inside of this group, last week that you had just lost your job, that you had just been laid off. This is the universe redirecting you into the right path. Right. And it's part of that why.
So as a result, what you need to have a couple of whys, not just one why. You need to have actually 3 different whys. You need to have literally an immediate why that allows you to get jump started, and that is so urgent that you can meet in the next 90 days. So you need a 90-day why. You need like a 1 or 6 months or 1 year why, and then you need like a long-term legacy why, right? A lifetime why, a BHAG, like it's called, like the big, hairy, audacious goal, right? This big thing, but it can't just be a big, hairy, audacious goal. It can't just be like, hey, I want to own the I don't know, the Cleveland Indians or something like that, right? Or the Arizona Cardinals, right? Why, right?
You need to connect that to your emotions, to why it matters for you. What is that going to represent for you? What's going to mean for you and your family?
And then exactly what it means for you to your family to reach that goal. And if that goal is to have $1 million income a year, so that you can live in that $1 million in that beautiful house, so that you can reinvest into other things, so you can build that financial abundance for you and your family, or whatever that may be, then this is the why they need you create. And actually, I need you to do this right now. What is your why? Put it in here right now. Put it in here right now. And that's also, hint, it's going to be part of your homework today.
Because at the end of the day, once you have clarity on what that why is, or those 3 whys are, and what the most urgent one is, you're really able to not just have it written in paper, but you've clarified it. You know exactly what the true north is, what the target is, and you can start talking to it. And I know this sounds a little cuckoo, but if you start talking to your why, talking to your vision, seeing it in everything around you, when you go outside to the backyard, seeing your why in the grass with your kids, having fun, enjoying, the simple pleasures of life. It's about always bringing that why present to your everyday, but you need to know what that why is to begin with. Right. So talk to your why, let it pull you towards a larger vision, that larger why, that BHAG that Jack was gonna, just talked about.
Right. This is absolutely key. Now, the next is that the what requires a 10x thinking, because we're not in the Dave Ramsey kind of world here, right? The goal of financial independence is not going to be achieved by eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Nothing wrong with peanut butter and jelly. We love it. And nothing all wrong with rice and beans. We love it too.
A little, because they have a lot of carbs.
Because of the keto thing, right? And but we have peanut butter. So the thing is that, so put it in your financial your goals here, right? So the what requires literally a different thinking. Now, again, we're going to lift our sights and talk about mastery, not just about getting a deal done. So in order to reach mastery, in order to have a business that is high six and even 7 figures, right, you need to do 10x thinking. So one, not thinking about how do I get one deal done, right? How do you get one deal done? You send a bunch of letters out and you make a bunch of offers, you get a deal done, right?
I can get you there like this.
Like this. So yeah. The key is in order to create scale, you got to do like, how do I have, who do I have to become? What transformation do I have to go through? What systems do I need? What support do I need? What accountability do I need? BHAG stands for big, hairy, audacious goal, right? BHAG stands for big, hairy, audacious goal. It's kind of, so when you, you need much bigger thinking. You need 10x thinking for 10x results. You need 10x systems for 10x results. You need a superior strategy, right? That allows you to do more with less, right? Not house flipping where you have to run after every house, sit in kitchen tables and things like that. And you need a team of 10 people in order to do 100 deals a year. What people do in our business, they do 100 deals a year alone, or husband and wife, or one person with a virtual assistant and so on. So you also need the superior approach, right? Comes from strategic growth, right? You need to produce in order because
going strategically, not just tactically, going about the why, you know, the house, you know, and the processes and the different steps of how to flip a piece of land, but how can I grow strategically? And at the end of the day, this what is what helps to produce your end goals of your why. You know, the end goals really are, at the end of the day, collapsing time. It's focusing on what matters, you know, based on metrics, like we were, telling you earlier today. So that number 3, you can enjoy that CEO lifestyle, that of entrepreneurial freedom that comes with it. Yeah. So those are end goals that we're all looking for when we're, striving for mastery.
And for example, I mean, and again, it's so important what Michelle just said, that the end goal is driven by your why. So if your why is to have a financial legacy for your children, as somebody just said, right? If your why is to create,
if you already have land, is to sell it quickly, you know, you're gonna have to put in strategies, because whatever you've been doing right now is not working. That is gonna help you collapse time, have more eyeballs on that listing, focus on the actual places that matter, where you're actually gonna get a bang for your buck when it comes to the type of property that you're selling,
right.
And so on and so forth.
So that's all important. So the what is the means, is the strategy for that. Now, a strategy ideally is something that you like doing and you enjoy doing, but it's just a conscious decision of what brings you to the end result the fastest way. And what brings you to the end result the fastest way is usually something that's the simplest and brings you the biggest result. So that's what you want to do. Like, for example, I read the book, The Next Door Millionaire, where they talk about that, for example, owners of junkyards make something like 700. There's one example of one guy makes like $750,000 in a year in income. Now, that was an example of a business that is not sexy, right? So it doesn't have to be sexy. Land flipping is not necessarily the sexiest thing in the world, right?
I make it sexy.
Michelle makes it sexy. There we go. Right. It's just, but it's also not sexy. It's also not
dirt, for goodness sake.
It's just dirt, right? Yeah. It's real estate without all the hassle. What makes it sexy is actually the fact that you don't deal with tenants, with toilets, with termites, that you don't have to go meet the seller there, that you don't have to meet the buyer, that it's predictable, that there's almost no competition, very, very little competition, that it works in any economy, that it works anywhere, that you can do it, that's 100% remotely, that you can do it from home. All those things makes it that you can do seller financing without running against Dodd-Frank or even the IRS dealer status, that you can do all these things just from the comfort of your home, even internationally if you want to. We have an increasing amount of students coming from all over the world that are doing this in their own countries. So the point is, what makes land, well, in my opinion, one of the sexiest things out there. But it doesn't matter, because the point is, it's also the simplest that gets you to the results. All right. So now let's go on to the next, so that you can ultimately, and the most important thing is, you can design this business with just like very, very few resources, like an AVA or 2 VAs, in a way that you can truly live that CEO lifestyle, right? And that's what we're all about, right? It's about mastery here. So next question is like, how many land deals do you need to live that 10x lifestyle? Well, you define that, guys. You define that, right? So if you're, by the way, if your screen is frozen, you might want to exit out and come back in. Most people say it's working well for you, for them. So
you might want to hit refresh also.
Hit refresh or leave Facebook and come back in. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, guys, leave YouTube, come back in. It should work. It's probably your internet connection because we are hardwired and everything, and we have, by all indication, it works well for everyone here. So, so the thing is, the next is how many land deals do you need? So you decide that for yourself. And what I would like for you to do is decide that in a 3-part kind of thing, because mastery doesn't happen overnight, right? Mastery doesn't happen overnight. Mastery is a transformational process. So development is a growth process, right? When we started out, we were just like you. We didn't know how to build a business. Yes, we went to business school, so we understood the terminology, but there's no class that tells you how to hire somebody, how to create a system for something, how to do any of these things. So we needed to learn this.
We've gone through all the strugugh already,
all the struggle, all the mistakes.
All the mistakes, yeah.
So you don't have to do this anymore. Don't go through those struggles anymore, because we have gone through it for you already. So we can show you how to avoid those. But the key is, so we have, so you want to do this in multiple steps. So depending on how fast you think you're going to progress, you want to have perhaps a year 1, a year 2, and year 3 kind of a number of deals. Because let's look at some of our most successful students, like one of our coaches, Mike Smyer, right? He's going to come on later this week too.
Making money with dirt don't hurt.
There you go. Yes. So
absolutely not.
Right. So great. So if you have, he in his first year, he did 50 deals, right? While learning this, by doing this, by doing all the different pieces. Now, 50 deals is it's many hundreds of thousands of dollars in profit, right? Nothing to scoff at, right? The second year, he did 100 deals. Now, 100 deals, now in this case, made almost or somewhere around probably $1 million, right? So in his third year, he actually doesn't do more deals, he makes bigger deals. So instead of his average deal having whatever the number is, let's just pick a number. I don't know the answer, $10,000 or $20,000. Now his average deal has $20,000 or $40,000, $20,000 to $40,000 deals. So he's not duplicating, not just doing more. More is not always better than better. If better is better. So now he's doing actually not even more deals, but the profit margins have jumped, and they've jumped from year 1 to year 2, year 3. So we want to put some of these things in there. So often what I say is like,
we've been able to bring countless to that process, in a quantum leap, because for example, Megan Autry right now is one of our coaching students that is doing $20,000 flips on average. Right. That is like her standard now. That's her new normal. Yeah. Before it was maybe 5-10 grand, but we're able to collapse time for her and help her get to 20,000 in a very relatively short period of time, because she's being coached by someone that is already doing this and has gone through this before. Yeah. So it's helping her get it done quicker, faster, better.
Right. Mike Smyer is a bad catch. Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
So good. So then, so what I recommend is, again, we in the worksheet we put like year 1, year 2, year 3. You can adjust that if you want, depending on your goals, to quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, or first 6 months, second 6 months, then the ultimate. Like, adjust it to your own needs. But often the goal is for students is, the first goal is like to quit your job. Right? To quit what you're doing right now that you're not enjoying, right? So quit what you're doing right now that you're not enjoying. So enough deals to quit what you're doing right now. You put a timeline on there, and you don't have to follow the worksheet on it.
For example, if it's replacing a $200,000 income, if we were to reverse engineer, how many deals would you need? With a $10,000 or $20,000 spread. Exactly.
So the second part of the goal is then, once you're done that, we're building out those systems to allow you to massively scale. What's the number after the scale is produced, right? So that's the second number. And the third time is so that you can live that CO lifestyle, right? And then put those pieces in place. And the third kind of a goal is then what you always wanted to do is like this, like go crazy. Think about what is it for year 3 or milestone 3, whatever you want to do that. You can do that over year 1, year 2, year 3. You can do that over first 6 months, second 6 months, third 6 months. It depends on your speed here right now. But the goal is mastery. The goal is not just go tickle along with a deal a quarter. The goal is to create that mastery that allows you to literally live beyond your wildest dreams.
Have peace of mind, have cash confidence that no matter what's happening in the economy, you're going to be creating your own economy. You know, I've done this in the past. I would love to do it again with you guys. If you go ahead and post on your own personal walls, you know, hashtag cash confidence, and maybe take a picture of yourself watching this masterclass, my team, and you have to tag me, Michelle Bosch, in order for my team to see you. And we will be able to send you actually a copy of our Forever Cash book and also a Forever or Land Profit Generator t-shirt. Nice. You guys want to do that? I just remembered. I had forgotten about that.
And when you do that, also let us know your size.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
We'll send you the right thing. Perhaps when you post it in the comments, you say the size.
If you watching, some of you guys who may have already done this, if you've done this before, but if you're new, take a picture of you watching the masterclass, hashtag cash confidence. Make sure you tag me so that my team can see you in my, you know, in my profile outside of this Facebook group, not inside the Facebook group, but outside of the Facebook group, and then they can send you a
inside the Facebook group. Do it outside of it, so tell the world that you're watching this and
you're going for cash confidence.
You're
starting accountability for yourself, because once you tell the world, I'm doing this, oh shit, you got to muster the courage because you're doing this.
Exactly right. All right. So next question is like, so now, again, the goals, let me just say the thing, how many land deals do you have to do? You put it in and put it in the comments, by the way. Put it in the comments like milestone 1, milestone 2, milestone 3, whether that is. It's like year 1, year 2, year 3, or 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, or 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, depending on your pace, somebody on your speed and on your goals and in your why, right? What is your why, right? But I ask you to go in the why, have a short-term why, a mid-term why, and a long-term why, and take that long-term why and make it big, right? Make it big, because again, Megan, our coaching student that we mentioned a couple times already, she accomplished her 3-year goals in the first 6 months. Right? So don't go too conservative on it. She's literally redoing her whys right now and probably putting them up 10x, because she has accomplished everything she wanted to accomplish in 3 years in a matter of less than 6 months right now, about 4 or 5 months, right? So there we go. So Roger Michael, 6 deals, 6 months, 6 deals. Great. Now what's the next one? What's the next one, Roger? Right?
What's
afterwards? What's year 2? What's after that? What's the next one? And then also remember, tie them to the reason why. Why is that important? So otherwise they become just random goals. Right? Random goals. What's a random goal? Yeah, a random goal is I want to own the Arizona Cardinals. I don't even know anything about football. Why would I want to own them? It has no emotional juice for me to own the Cards, right?
So when we talk about why and identifying that why and connecting it to emotional juice, you know, what Jack is talking about is him sitting, you know, in his hometown in Germany and not being able to afford a second beer. You know what I mean?
Right.
That kind of connection, that kind of stuff is what's going to fuel you. That kind of stuff is what's going to basically kindle the fire to put fire in your butt to go and actually get it done.
Yeah, that I never want to be in a situation in my life again that I cannot afford something if I truly want it. Right? That is the thing. When I was in high school and drinking is allowed at age 16, so I was in Germany, so I had a beer in a bar about 17, 18, just before graduation, and everyone around me had a second one and ate something, and I could only afford 1 beer, and I was nibbling at that thing until it was stale, and I could not afford the second beer, right? And I could not afford to order something to eat because I was just like my budget wasn't there, right? So didn't have the money. So that was ingrained in me, that is like, I will do something that will allow me to be ever in a position that if we want to go to a fine dining restaurant every day, not that we do, but if we do, then what the heck, yes, that money will not play a role in our life anymore. The lack of money, right? The money is done with, that we're done with. And that is the big BHAG. Was the big kind of humming engine in the background, the big why that got us through the tough times. And you want to find something like that. Find experiences, and look at experiences of pain in your past, not to blame somebody, but look at them as fuel to drive you forward. And like along the lines of like, I suffered through that, I will never suffer through that again. Or extend to other people and say like, I will not allow for other people to suffer through that again. And now you have I want to create something that allows other kids or families to be helped and so on.
And now you're talking legacy.
Now you're talking legacy. Now you're talking expanding beyond yourself, right?
And so this exercise right now, you know, going through, okay, what's next? Not just the first goal, but the second goal and the third goal, which is the BHAG. That is because, you know, becoming a CEO requires a much more long-term horizon, you know, much more long-term thinking. And 10x results require much more long-term thinking. So financial legacy, your question number 5 in your homework, right. Financial legacy requires 10x results, you know, that come from long-term thinking, and also a strategic wealth strategy, because you can now, you know, have year 1, year 2, year 3, and continue to use this business as a land cash machine, producing cash profits and cash flow for you that you can, you know, now maybe allocate into a different asset class. This is like long-term generational strategy, you know, for generations to come.
Like, you know? Christina Walls just did. She just the other day, one of our coaches again, she has mastered the land flipping. She has more than replaced their income in just the last 4 months worth of only seller financing deals. Seller financing deals is where you take a $30,000 property, you put it on a contract for $3,000, you sell it for $30,000 with a $5,000 down payment, and you get $500 a month for the next 7 years. These kind of cash flow deals have more than replaced her prior income, and she already had a business going, and she shut down this business as of May 31st. It's gone, the other business. She's fully land flipping, but now she makes such good income that she actually started taking that and investing it with another one of our coaches, with Chance, or actually the other way around. She had started investing that into a mobile home park, right? And another one of our coaches, they're doing so well that they're now investing with her into that mobile home park. So they're using land flipping as their cash and cash flow machine in order to ultimately build the financial legacy that they want. And that's actually what we describe in the Forever Cash book. Yeah. So it's fantastic here. So great.
So now let's get into, because I just realized, you know, we want to be respectful of your time. It's already 10:55, and we need to get to continue going through the rest of the questions in your worksheet.
So the peak factors in choosing an area.
Does everyone get it? Is everyone all on board? Cash, confidence, mastery, long-term thinking, 10x results. Yeah, everyone is.
That is just so freaking important, because because of looking up there towards mastery. Like, there's no replacement for it. That's why we spend extra time on it. But now let's go into the actual nitty-gritty of the actual strategy. So in order to do your first step for the strategy, you have the 3 key factors to choosing an area. Obviously, you need, basically, it's all about finding the right areas and then understanding what makes a good area. And a good area means that there's such a thing in the United States like bad counties. And typically those are counties that are very, very expensive, and they actually have hyper growth. So when I say growth, like, for example, the 3 kind of factors to choosing an area are: number 1, focus on the right kind of properties. And I'll go into that in just a second with a little bit more. Number 2 is pick stable or growing areas. And number 3 is pick areas that are actually attractive on their own. So particularly if you talk about rural areas. So let's talk about those in a little bit. So the kinds of properties that we're focusing on. So what makes a good area is that there is buyers already lined up for those areas, right? The best areas you want to do deals in are areas that are kind of like, they're attractive, there's demand of buyers, but the demand is not so crazy that the last seller already heard that prices are going up like crazy. So therefore, in terms of like growth, it kind of combines the piece. When in the past, I always said, like, to you guys, and I want to clarify this, that the area should be growing. However, what that meant is everyone jumped after these super high growth, 30% per year or 30% over the last 10 year growing areas. And that's too high. There's such a thing like too high of a growth, right? You're not looking after hyper growth areas, because in hyper growth areas, what happens is that everyone knows that these areas are high growth. Even the sellers will know. And as a result, your response rates go down. You get like a 1% response rate. And you have to pay much higher prices to get deals. That's not our model. So what you're looking for is stable and growing areas. Of course, growing areas. We don't want to go into an area that's decreasing, but we want to get growing areas that are not crazily growing. We want to go into areas that are just growing a little bit, so that just enough that there is demand, but not that there's like hordes of people jumping in there. So if you have a county that, if you look at a county where there's like 1,000 sales in the last year, and there's only 400 properties for sale or 500 properties for sale, that obviously is a hyper growth county. That might not be the place you want to be. Instead, you want to be one where probably potentially even more are for sale than have sold. But obviously that ratio shouldn't be like 10x, 10 to 1. It should be more in like 2, 3, 4, 5 to 1. That's still okay, because also many of these websites like Zillow are underreporting sales, right? Because people like you and I, we go on these properties, we sell our properties there, and when it's sold, we take them down. We don't go on Zillow and report that it's sold and what it's sold, what it reported for. Most people just take it down. So therefore, there's less properties reported as having sold than they actually have sold. So therefore, you can go into this ratio a little bit. So therefore, just
don't be in Austin, says
Austin, Texas, and you will be fine. And that's actually right, Anshu. Austin is one of the fastest growing areas in the country, and that's why a lot of people want to go there. But that's the wrong strategy, guys. Right? It's not a growth strategy. That's a treasure hunt strategy to go after areas like Austin, Texas. So therefore, count of properties, stable growth. Then the count of properties, again, that's just a repetition. You already, if you have been in any of our sessions before or have one of our programs already, you already know that we're going up to 3 kinds of properties, which is infill lots, right? In the cities, they are harder to, they're a little bit, it requires more mailers to get and a higher price to pay, but you also make good profits. Number 2, path of growth, which is outside of the cities, and it's a certain piece outside, not just a mile outside, not just directly outside, but you can go half an hour outside. People still want to live half an hour outside of the city and commute in the city, particularly right now in this coronavirus times. That actually just read that 39% of all buyers, and actually New York Times put an article yesterday and started exactly repeating that lots of people are looking to go outside of the cities, have more space, have more roaming space, and go back to small town living, to rural living, but still want to be close to the city so they can go see their friends, they can go do the movies and all this kind of things. And then the third, you wanted to say something? No? Okay. And then the third one is the third one is rural areas, and that goes particularly to the third point, that the area needs to be attractive. Like there's lots of rural land in the United States, but some of it is just ugly. There's nothing around. There's nothing to even do around there. So
when looking for recreational, especially right now when recreational property is selling like hotcakes, you want to be looking for areas that are attractive, that have something going for them, where people are going to actually recreate, going fishing, going swimming, going hiking, going hunting, doing something that is recreational to them, camping, whatever.
That's exactly right. So there are differences in areas, and you got to just put a little thinking into it. If everyone chases the same 100 properties, then prices are going to go up, right? So be in an area where the growth is not that crazy, right?
And in this economic environment, it's not just that, but it's also remembering that everyone that is out there buying is looking for a bargain, that they are looking for an ROI, and they have an ROI in mind, that they're a financial type of buyer. So whether it be a builder or a retail customer, now is a time where they're going to be thinking about that even most.
And by the way, this strategy to be outside of the cities and so on is exactly what's wrong with house flipping. In house flipping, you've got to be in the cities, right? You usually even have to house flip where you live, right? And in this case, the entire country is your playground. You can pick any area in the country that has those characteristics that I talked about, right? So because in the housing world, you got to do this where you live, because you got to go see the properties, or you got to arrange for somebody to see it for you. And often that person steals the property from you and goes behind your back, as has happened to us a few years ago when we also when we started dabbling in the house flipping space, and because this method works for houses too, but then every deal we got on contract, either somebody stole or it just was so much hassle that after a little bit, it's like, let's skip that. Let's focus back on just land because it works just so much better.
Cleveland just said, Cleveland, we are having a 2 p.m. session as well today, 2 p.m.
Yes,
Pacific.
absolutely.
But if you missed the first half or the first 40, 50 minutes of this session, then just the replays are going to be in the unit section up above inside of the Facebook group, okay?
Exactly right. So again, this is what makes land flipping so much better than house flipping, that you don't have to be there and so on. And by the way, and it's just all about the land, the county selection. So now, having said that, those who work with us already, for example, in coaching, they already know that one of the steps is that you select a bunch of counties and then you pass it to your coach, and then your coach literally looks over them and critiques them and tells you whether or not they think it's good counties or not. So
that you can understand what constitutes a good county, so that we're basically teaching you at this point how to fish.
Exactly, we teach you how to fish so you can go out there and in the future do this.
Feel confident and bulletproof that the areas that you're going to go out there and mail and test are going to actually yield results.
Yeah. Exactly. So now the next question is like, what? Let's just quickly jump into the selling side of things. But remember, we have much more detailed sessions also this afternoon and also tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday, Friday about all different things like selling. We have an entire selling session on Wednesday morning, right? Wednesday morning is all about selling. So, but what are the two ways to sell? Just to give particularly those who have never been part of this here before, who just came here to the first time, we have what are two ways to sell properties, right? Well, we love wholesaling and we love seller financing, right? Those are the two ways we love selling these properties. Now, we can also sell it for retail, but retail takes a while to sell, right? For example, we have a property here for sale in town that we bought for $90,000 and it's for sale for $250,000. I have gotten multiple offers for $120,000, $140,000, $150,000, which I have all declined because we don't want to wholesale this property. We want to get it. We want to get full market value for it because right now it's actually cash flowing at $24,000 a year because somebody's renting it from us at $2,000 a month. So just at that, it should be worth $400,000 from the cash flow. So we're not willing to sell it for less, but it takes time. It has been on the market already like a year, and nobody. We could have sold it in 30 days for $120,000, $130,000, but that's not what we wanted to do. So having said that, let's see, the two ways that we love selling properties is wholesale. So let's take a deal again. Let's take a $30,000 property, you put, or $50,000 property, you put it on a contract for 8, and you go sell it for 30, right? That puts after closing costs, you make a $20,000 profit. You do that all day long, right? Who wouldn't want to buy a $50,000 property for $30,000? It's a bargain. It's like 60% of market value, and jump on it, build something on it, and be happy with it, right? You at the same time made a $22,000 margin after closing costs, $21,000 or $20,000 in profit. You do that all day long, right? You do that on you do that on infill lots, you do that on rural areas, you do that on all the three kind of properties that we told you are candidates for that. The second kind of selling though is what we absolutely love, and what a lot of our students do is they focus at the beginning on cash deals because
you need to replace your job, because you need to retire a spouse, because you need to
pay off
debt, whatever it is that you need to do. You need to start with cash, basically just flipping for cash.
So what a lot of people do is they start with this wholesale deals. Buy something for $2,000, sell it for $10. Buy it for $4, or put it on a contract for $4 and sell it for $20, right? Those kind of deals make you those 8, 15,000, 20, 50,000.
And scale, basically a large volume of deals is going to allow you to do that very, very easily, very, very quickly. And actually based on those profits that you're going to be getting from that, you're going to be able to bring a VA on board, for example, very, very quickly to come and help you. Yeah.
Exactly right. So you scale up. Now you have the budget to then you do your first deal, then you do many more deals, and then you work it all yourself, right? But then you have the money and the budget to then go put in the different systems in place. But either way, anyway, so then the next way is with seller financing, which we absolutely love, because the best kind of seller financing deal is a deal where you have a $30,000 property, you put on a contract for $3, you sell it for $30,000, because when you do seller financing, you don't have to discount the price anymore, right? The price actually is, the discount is in the deal is in the terms that you offer, and you offer, and then somebody pays you $5,000 down payment, which is more than you pay for the property. So you can do a double closing too, right? But in any case, so you pay for 3, you get 5 as a down payment, and now you get $500 a month for the next 7 years. So you add this up, you with interest, your $30,000 sale turns into something like a $50,000 profit over the next 7 years. And on top of it, you get pure and true cash flow, like true cash flow without any tenants, toilets, termites, repairs, or anything. They just pay you every single month. And if they stop paying you, foreclose on it, and you go resell it, get another $5,000 down, and so on and so forth. But from the first payment on, if you do this the right way, you already get more back than you even paid for the property. So somebody says everything is expensive in that area, but land upstate isn't as insane. Yes, here's the thing, guys. If you don't, that's the beauty about land. Don't get stuck into the land prices where you live. Forget about the land prices where you live. Go where the land prices are such that you can get those deals and make those profits, because you don't have to go see the land. Google Earth, Google Maps, all right, Google, the county GIS websites give you everything you'll ever need to know about those properties. A phone call to the county gives you information about water levels, utilities, buildability, setbacks, building envelope, any animals that live there, anything.
You can use both. Somebody just asked you use lease purchase or create a note. You can, depending on the state and what your exit strategy, you want it to be, you can use either one.
Right.
You can use
you can do both. And the beautiful part about it is that if you do, whether you do seller financing or cash deals, you can even do it without your own money, right? Because when you buy something, when you put something on a contract for $8,000 and you flip it as a wholesale for $30,000, guess what? You can do what's called the double closing, where the buyer, where you have 2 contracts, one with the seller, one with the buyer. You put those contracts to the title company. The buyer sends in their $30,000. The title company takes the $2,000 for closing costs, and then sends the seller the $8,000. And guess what? There's $20,000 still in this title company account, and those $20,000 are being sent to you in the middle. So you make $20,000 without having to use any of your own money. That's the beauty of that. And you can even do that with seller financing deal if the down payment that you receive from the buyer is higher than what you pay for the property. So you can create cash flow without using any of your own money, with an infinite return right from the beginning. Right? Isn't that crazy? That's what we're talking about here. So that's the beauty of that.
And we're going to be talking about, assignments
and
double closing tomorrow.
Right. So then the next question is, how many counties should you get started with? Now, here's the thing. Because there's some counties that work really, really well, and some counties that, even though on paper they look good, they don't work really, really well. You want to start with multiple counties at the same time. Thank you very much. Somebody said, David says, good, huge value here. Yes, great. And somebody else says, like, I told you that it would be good. Yes, I hope it's good, right? We're sharing. You really, there's programs out there that you pay $50,000 that don't teach you half what we give you here right now for free, guys, right? So I know that because I don't mingle much in the industry, because I know there's a lot of bad people in the industry that teach the stuff wrong. They teach the stuff, the wrong way, that doesn't work. They teach something that worked 10 years ago. Here's right now
where they're trying to create ants for their own, wholesaling business. This is not about you becoming our ants. This is about you guys becoming your own CEO, cash confident in your own land flipping business, and making you basically self-sourcing at the end of the day, self-sourcing.
Exactly, because we don't even partner with our students, except if the ones that are in our coaching program, if they really want to. But even there, the goal is the coaches work on getting them to do the deal all themselves, because it's not about partnering, it's about you becoming one of our millionaires, right? That's the goal here. So having said that, so how many counties? You want to start with, like, here's the thing. Here's the mistake that some people do, right? And again, this is like talking out of, like, opening Pandora's box here and giving you the biggest secrets. Like, what people do, the mistake that people do is that they pick one county and they send 5,000 letters to their county. If that county, for any reason, was a bad county, then guess what? Now they're all frustrated. They're like, oh man, this stuff doesn't work, and they go around somewhere else. What about you taking?
That's the natural path, without human intervention, without somebody, actually walking you through the process. That's the natural path. You may probably give up, because after 5,000 mailings and no deals, that's the natural tendency for humans, So that's why this human intervention and accountability and support structure around you is so important, so that you are actually following an unnatural path to success that brings you quantum leaps very, very quickly.
Right. So exactly. So and it's a beautiful path because it's proven. And for example, we do our team meeting with our coaches every other week, and everyone reports how their own business is doing, and they're like, it's like, we should film that thing, because it's just like, oh, I'm sold out from deals. I sold 7 deals this week. I sold 5 deals this week. I sold 3 deals today. I made $100,000 on this deal. I made $50,000. It's just like crazy. But anywhere, so the thing is, so now imagine, instead of doing one county 5,000 deals, or 5,000, even if you do one county 5,000 mailings, what if you do just one county 500 letters? It's the same thing. But if you don't get any results, now 3-4 weeks have passed, you got to start again. And if it happens again and again, now you're like 3-4 months on, and most people give up at that point. However, what if you do this in parallel? What if you, over the course of 3 to 5 weeks, send out a few hundred letters, like 500 to 1,000 letters per county, to 4 to 6, 7, 8 counties, right? You just split them up. It's like first week 2 counties, next week 2 counties, next week 2 counties, next week 2 counties, and you do that. And on top of it, you have our team actually look over your shoulder and make sure that you pick the right counties. Would you think that makes a difference in your ability to scale right out of the get-go? 100% yes. That's why you see some of our students coming working with us, having like 3 deals under contract in a matter of 3 weeks after sending out letters, because they're working with the pros. So and that's all. And you want to have those 6. So how many counties? 6 to 8 counties would be a good number, and you want to make sure that they're not all in the same area, but instead that you want to yes, bought and sold.
Different states, or in different types of counties.
That they're spread over like 2 or 3 states. That you do like 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, right? Or 2 or 3 here, 2 or 3 here, 2 or 3 here. And that almost guarantees your success, or makes it your success like 100 times more likely. And when I work with our coaching students, that's exactly the path we go through, and every single one of them gets deals. Has always got the deals.
There needs to be a good mix of states, a good mix of counties, and a good mix of types of properties that you're going after: recreational, infill, or path of development.
And that gets me to another point. So how many letters? 500 to 750 letters per county is a good number. But then that gets me to another point, is that people just don't mail enough, right? That's really one of the landmines we'll might talk tomorrow a little bit more about. But they don't mail enough because if you send out 100 letters, you're subject to the law of chance, right? 100 letters is like if you flip a coin 10 times and it comes out 8 times head and 2 times tail, right? It's just a game of luck. But if you mail 500, it turns from a game of luck to a game of statistical odds, right? To the law of averages comes in, and therefore it's much, 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 much more likely to get a deal there. So you don't want to just send out, oh, I sent out 100 letters and it didn't and nothing happened, right? That doesn't work like that. You do have to commit a little bit volume, because here's the deal: do you want to build a hobby, or you want to build a massive CEO business that produces, that if you look back to your goals right away from that we just went through, you want to build a business that within a certain time frame, you define that time frame, is at $1 million a year, or $2 million in the next 12 months, right? I'm coaching a couple of people right now there whose goal is to be at $1.5 million in the next 12 months. Another one whose goal is at $1 million in the next 18 months, right? They are, so that is their definite goal. They have a big why behind it, and therefore they're doing everything we ask them to do, right? So not everyone has those goals. Even if your goals is just a few $100,000, it still requires you're not going to get there with 100 letters. So a lot of people make that mistake right there. All right.
And well, I can talk about the 4 steps later on when we describe the 4 stages at 2 p.m. But right now, for those of you guys that have been patiently working for and waiting for the homework for you guys today, and there's going to be a post here inside of the Facebook group, and I need you guys to post. The homework is going to be, what is your financial dream and why is it important now? Why is that important to you?
That's the first step. Now, also at the same time, you can go look at these counties and things like that. You want to take action on there. But I'm telling you guys that if you have not defined your why, you are not going to take action. Yeah. Nobody takes action just before or sustained action. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
And in 3 levels, you know what I mean? Jack talked about, a very urgent why that is super immediate right now. Another one that is a little bit, is still short term, but not too far, maybe a quarter or 6 months out. And then one that is maybe a year or even 3 years out, a big, hairy one. So you want to keep those in mind and use the urgent, immediate one, identify that one, put laser focus on that one, because that one is the one that gets you out of the rat race right now.
Right. Don is asking, Jack and Michelle, as CEO of your automated land flipping business, what task are you still doing today as of today? We do 2 tasks. We double check the values of the property, even though our team is great at determining them, right? But we still double check them over time. And then, not all of them, but we spot check them basically. And then we decide sale prices. That's it. Everything else is being done by others. Can you imagine how much time a year you have for a year? And we select counties. We decide which counties and things we're going to go into next to expand into. But that's it. Those are the 3 spend. But that's just the decision. Our team gets the list. Our team processes the list. Our team sends out the letters. Our team does the value analysis. We spot check it. We decide, and then we have somebody that creates all the listings. And
somebody that takes the calls.
Yeah, somebody takes the call. That's an automated call center. So, but you think that requires a big team? It doesn't. It requires basically you can do that with 2 VAs, and depending on scale, you might have 3 VAs. But at the level of 3 VAs, you're making $1 million plus a year in this business, right? Just want to let you know.
I mean, Dave Nedishin, also one of our coaching clients, he's doing that with just 1 VA. But he's doing a lot of the other things, He still likes talking to his buyers, but you know what? That is his genius. That is his superhuman skill. So I don't want him to get out of his superhuman skill that he actually loves and enjoys. He loves actually talking to buyers and getting deals done.
And that's a great other answer to your question, and that is
it depends on
that you keep what you love and you outsource and automate what you don't love. I don't love speaking to sellers. I mean, it's fun, but I don't want to spend my day. I'd rather go jump.
Sellers, but it's not scalable.
It's not scalable, and I'd rather spend the time jumping.
I love talking to people.
Me too, but I rather spend the time jumping into the pool with my daughter, right? So I don't do that. We don't do that anymore. We don't talk to buyers because we have somebody that's in charge of selling these properties for us, right? We don't do the detailed property research because it's something that I'm really, really good at, but I don't really want to spend my day on that too, right? But Dave, for example, Michelle mentioned, he loves talking to sellers and he loves talking to buyers. So he kept that part. As a result, though, he spends 5 hours, 6 hours a day in his office, but he still makes $500,000 to $1 million a year. Not a bad paycheck for spending 5 hours a day in his office that he built with the land money next to his house on top of his garage. He built his home office. And so he drinks his coffee, goes over there from 9 till 3 p.m., picks the kids back up from school, and then he's a full-time dad. Isn't that a beautiful life? But this is his life of his design. Not everyone needs to have that exact same wish to have that exact same life, right? So you choose it for yourself.
Every single person, every single one of you has scale that is perfect for you, but you need to define that. And that's why we're helping you right now, through this process of identifying your 3 whys, helping you identify, what that vision is. How does it look like, for you? Yeah. And somebody just asked, some counties are small. If they have only less than 500 records, is that not a good county? It could be a good county. You just need to add more counties into that, mailing to produce, the number of mailers that you need in order to have a good random test.
Or you go deeper into that county at a later stage after that first test, and that's something we're going to talk about tomorrow. Yeah. Right? Ways to go deeper, ways to create more deals without having to constantly go into new counties, right? There's a whole bunch of efficient, advanced strategies that we can share with you, and that we're going to allude to over the next couple of days, and not allude to, we're going to share over the next couple of days, that will allow you to understand just how many facets you can do in this land business to really truly take this to mastery, right?
So later on this afternoon, 2 p.m. Pacific, we're here discussing the 4 stages of growth, which are, I can already tell you, startup, build up, build out, and maturity.
But there's a lot of things you need to understand of that. This is really, you're going through a business MBA here while you're getting through a land MBA. So, all right. With that said,
it's the Harvard of land flipping after all, so you're going to get it.
All right. With that said, bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.